Mitch McConnell finally introduces his new second stimulus package. So exciting. And, you look at it, though, it's sort of awkward looking. It's sort of strange looking. It's all sort of twisted and doesn't, it just looks weird looking at it. So Mitch McConnell was asked to explain what his inspiration was on his second stimulus package. He said by looking at Nancy Pelosi's hairstyle. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evenings LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. This is Evenings, always at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Starts with a check. And tonight I will have another special report on the Trump executive order, what looms and how soon it could happen. More about that 30 minutes after this video. Stay tuned. It's going to be a blockbuster. I know you're asking that question, so I'll be answering those questions. But let me get to the incredible details. Minutes ago, the second stimulus package was debuted, and it's that big box, and I have the box in front of me, and I go to pull out what's in the box, and I look at the pages of the bill, and it looks like there's a page missing. It's just like, okay, Mitch, where's the other page? The page missing is there's no stimulus checks in there. Okay, we have been told by Steve Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, Mark Meadows 12,000 times, even Mitch McConnell, Mike Pence, and Donald Trump that you're going to get second stimulus checks in the second stimulus package. That's why it's called the second stimulus package. Well, it's not in there, which made everyone pause and think, what? What do you mean it's not in there? Is this some sort of punk? Is this like, Ashton Kutcher is going to come out behind the Senate floor and say, surprise, I'm just, we're just teasing, we're just kidding. It's a little strange. Now, here is what Jennifer, who's a longtime viewer of this channel, said. She said, LA, you called it. You said to stay calm. You said to stay on high alert, and you said not to write off anything in the first few hours of what debuts. And that's exactly what I'm repeating tonight. I don't want you to see what you say today and think it's the end result, because that's not how the Senate ever works. It doesn't work this way today, and it's not going to work this way tomorrow for any bill whatsoever. It starts with a draft, and then it makes concessions and makes twists and turns. And so ultimately, this is a starting point. It is not the end point. It may not go anywhere either, but, this is where we are starting. What's also really quite interesting, and that's why you got to tune into the special tonight. No one is going to tell you this except the purple power, because you have the purple power. Mark Meadows has said today's bill is $500 billion. Well, of all the few things that we're not told true and correct answers to, that was actually a true statement. The bill that debuted today was $500 billion. Okay, so of the $500 billion, what was supposed to be the amount of money spent on checks? You watched my video over the weekend where President Trump said that second stimulus checks, he has $300 billion to send out for second stimulus checks. And I did the calculation for you. I said it cost about $300 billion for second stimulus checks. Well, if you look at a $500 billion bill, and it was supposed to have in there stimulus checks, FPUC, school aid, and testing, there's not enough. $300 billion wouldn't leave enough. Well, let me say it this way: if checks were in a $500 billion bill and they cost $300 billion, that only leaves $200 billion. $200 billion is not enough to do FPUC, school aid, and testing. So was it always never the plan to have stimulus checks in this bill and to have them come by executive order because the $300 billion is sitting somewhere else? Yeah, okay. A few of you dropped this in the comments as well. You thought that this was sort of a setup. Actually, you thought it was a setup. A lot of you used the word setup in the comments as soon as you saw what hit today. Let me tell you what's in the bill, first of all, and move away from all fine china, move away from all glassware, move away from windows, just sort of like a hurricane watch, stay inside of framed structures, because here comes the crazy ass bill. It includes $257 billion for PPP, which I absolutely have to roll my head over. More about that in a second. Roll my eyes over. It includes $105 billion for schools and $16 billion for expansion of COVID-19. And finally includes FPUC 2.0 at $300 a week to December 31st. Okay, so first of all, there is some good news in there, or great news in some regards. $300 a week to December 31st. I've not been able to pull the entire scope of the bill to see if it's retroactive. I presume it's retroactive. But if it is retroactive, that July to December 31st is 20 weeks. At $300 a week, that's $6,000. So $6,000 between now and December, potentially for FPUC extended benefits per individual, is something that is going to help people. It absolutely will help people. So that is a good thing. It is a horrible number. I'm not going to dispute that $300 is an insane number. I've always said that I don't think it should come in at 300. I had said to you, I predicted at 400. I had said 500 is possible. 600 is not likely. $200 is a joke. $300, I hope it doesn't come in at, and it came in at $300. Now, that is where we are right now. Now, $300 can get changed, first of all. Mitt Romney had proposed a bill for $400. Other Republicans have proposed bills that have $400, not $300. So that's where we are today. I don't want you to assume it's going to end there or stop there. Next, PPP is just totally, ridiculously insane. If you watched my video last night, I talked about how there's $125 billion never used in the last round of PPP because no one wanted it. It's a horrible instrument. And so there was $125 billion sitting around from the last round of PPP. Why are we doing it again at $257 billion? Moreover, why are we allocating new money for PPP? Just use the old money sitting around from the last round of PPP. It doesn't make sense. Now, of the $257 billion, if that had been allocated for stimulus checks, would that have been enough? No. $257 doesn't look like it's about enough to do stimulus checks. Finally, schools and testing appears to be right. So how about your checks? How about your checks? Where are they and what's going on? Well, first of all, there are different ways to look at the situation. There are ways to look at it in an angry way, ways to look at it in a informed, skeptical way, ways to look at it in a positive way, and then ways to look at it in a very confused way. The pessimistic way is to say you're never going to get stimulus checks. Hello, this is one bill on one day at a first introduction. So if that is your position in life, then so be it. That would have worked very non-appropriately for my EIDL viewers back on when this channel launched on April 25th, when none of them were getting a single penny from EIDL, and it took weeks and perseverance, and they finally got the money. I understand some of you lose faith, but that's something you have to understand. Second, positivity. There's positivity because everyone has said you're getting stimulus checks. Mnuchin, Meadows, Kudlow, Trump, Pence have all said you're getting second stimulus checks. So it's not as though no one has said they don't want to give you stimulus checks. They've all said they want to give you stimulus checks. So then the question is, why is it not here? Well, then comes the next round of perhaps questions. Is this sort of a bizarre on its own island sort of bill situation again? It is possible. You know, the first time that Mitch introduced the HEALS Act, several months ago, that had apparently, unbeknownst to any of us, had nothing to do with the Republican leadership under the Trump administration. Donald Trump, shortly after that, said in private, it is an irrelevant bill. He wants to have nothing to do with it. And Steve Mnuchin never negotiated off of that bill because they thought the provisions of it were ridiculous. So Mitch did his own thing and introduced his own HEALS Act weeks ago. So is this Mitch's own thing again? It's really not clear. Mark Meadows had said this bill is $500 billion. Mark Meadows said what was in the bill. He said there were stimulus checks in the bill. He did not say that there was PPP. He did not say that, he did not give the number values. So was the Trump administration in on drafting this bill or not? We don't know. Certainly, this is only a Tuesday afternoon, the first day after holiday. We will wait and see what Meadows, Mnuchin, Kudlow, all these people say about this bill in the next 24 hours. They're not going to hide under a rock. They're going to be interviewed with questions. And as one viewer said in the comments earlier today, has any news reporter asked a single Trump administration official, why are there no stimulus checks in here when you said there's going to be stimulus checks in here? That's the last way to look at the situation. You know, no one likes when they're told something's going to happen and it doesn't happen. And the Trump administration, and specifically the president himself, has talked about stimulus checks ad nauseum over the last couple of days. He said on last Friday, I'm ready to send out stimulus checks, but the Democrats won't let me. He said 2 weeks earlier, I'm ordering Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin to get ready to send out Treasury stimulus checks, but the Democrats won't let me. And then Mike Pence said 3 days ago, no one wants to send out second stimulus checks more than the president. Larry Kudlow, Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows said there's going to be stimulus checks in here. So why is there nothing in here for stimulus checks? And why had Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin said the things that people agree upon are in this bill and the things that people don't agree upon we'll deal with later, when they cited stimulus checks as the thing that people do agree upon? It's simply baffling. And as I sit here now on an early afternoon, as you know, the show tapes earlier than when it airs. Let me explain that. You know, afternoons LALATE shows taped before the bill debuted. I dropped in the pinned comment to that all those videos on afternoons LALATE that those videos taped hours before they aired because of processing time, uploading time, editing time. It takes time to get the videos actually uploaded. They're not live shots. Sadly, I wish they were, but they're not. Now, as I sit here, it has only been a few hours since the bill has passed. No Trump administration person has spoken about the bill. Mitch issued a statement earlier today, which I read on Mornings LALATE, about the bill to be debuted today, that said it was going to give money to American families. There's no money in here for American families. Said he was going to help American families survive this pandemic. Well, he's not. So it's a little bit peculiar what's going on. And as I sit here today, what I want you to do is to remain positive, remain focused, but remain attentive, because the situation is not over on a Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. I saw your comments and I saw your tweets. My husband texted me. Fox News said it's not in, there's no stimulus checks in there. I just turned on the local CBS affiliate and they said there's no stimulus checks in there. I saw the reaction by you. But I had told you over the weekend, stay calm. Stay calm, because these people want to give you stimulus checks. And until they actually come out and say, I'm not giving you a stimulus check, then we have to believe their statements are true. If they are not true, then who are we to believe? We have a bunch of elected officials who say they're going to give us something. We have to believe that's true. And so as we sit here today, the question next remains is whether the stimulus checks are actually going to come by executive order. Whether the $300 billion did not need to be merged into the $500 billion or encompass part of the $500 billion of today's bill, because it's separate funds that the president has identified, that doesn't need congressional approval, that doesn't come from the Treasury Department, and that he, not Mitch, not Steve, not someone else, wants to take complete credit for sending out your stimulus checks in a very prime time-ish, major, eventful announcement. Is it possible? Is that what's brewing? Is that what's on the horizon? If you want to know, tune into the next video right after this, a special report on the looming executive order for second stimulus checks. Could it be coming? On days like this, it's important that you subscribe to this channel, because the minute the announcement came out, I went into what's called the community part of this portal. And by subscribing, going to the front channel, hit the subscribe and the alert button, you would have received my text. It's not a text on your phone. It's a text that goes through the community. So if you are on Android, for example, you get an alert, for example, if a new video goes live, but you also get an alert if I send a message in the community, and I immediately sent out this. LALATE breaking news. Our afternoon's LALATE shows today were recorded before the Republican bill was introduced minutes ago. Before the bill was introduced, Meadows, Mnuchin, McConnell, Trump, and Pence repeatedly said they are giving you a round of second stimulus checks. Now, once again, Americans were not told the truth by elected officials. The new bill introduced minutes ago does not include anything for second stimulus checks, and it went on. You would have gotten that alert the minute it happened, so you would not have had to turn on 20 channels or go on, open newspapers. I am the single vortex, for choice of a bad word, to get an alert when something happens. Finally, like this video. It's times like this that people need to have correct information, and also hold people accountable. We're supposed to forget that we were told we're getting stimulus checks today. We're supposed to forget what Meadows and Mnuchin told us, and McConnell. We're supposed to forget why we were supposed to get multiple checks in the spring. The important thing to understand is that this is a process, and with any process, it's important to apply everywhere. I said that on the very first day of this channel on April 25th, when I had 1 subscriber, and today we passed 240,000 subscribers, and we're trying to get 250,000 subscribers. I got the alert today to get the trophy from YouTube as well for 100,000 followers. Got it, which happened, a couple months ago. But it's the very first thing I said on the very first day: get on applications everywhere. So I understand some of you can't work, but if some of you have the capacity to work or have worked in the past, you may qualify for unemployment benefits. You may qualify for UI. You may qualify for PUA, which, when we talk about $6,000, is more than a $1,200 stimulus check. It's more money. And there could be other things that are going to come in the pipeline. PPP, if you want me to bring back the PPP videos, I'll bring them back, and I'll start doing PPPs again, because money is money. You don't care if it's called stimulus check or if it's called enhanced unemployment benefits. You just care that you get money, and you get money as soon as possible. So it's important to understand that you are on a high alert to know that you get applications on file in as many places as you can. With that, always stay positive. Always stay smiling. Always stay informed, because being informed is where you have your comfort level. And stay with LALATE for more. Coming up next, that big special. Please tune in.